Hello everyone and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Spirits with myself, Jared Warren, and our very, very special guest, Anne Friby. Firby? Is it Firby or Firby? I should have asked you.
Furby.
Firby, Anne Firby. So I have
Yeah,
known Anne for a few years now, and it was in the Elvis world, not the spiritual world, which is interesting. Anne is a massive Elvis fan, so that's how I got to meet her
I am. I am.
and meet her. So Anne, how are you? You okay?
I'm fine, thank you, Jared, and
Oh,
it's
good,
lovely
good.
to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this, and like I say, it's nice to talk about something a bit different than Elvis. I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
excited. So,
Well,
guys, oh,
Elvis
sorry,
is
go.
one passion, spirit is the other.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you do have a question for Anne this evening, if you want to put it in the comment section, and I will ask Anne for any advice you may need, or if you have a question what I might not have asked, please do put it in the comment section, and I will ask Anne. So, one of the reasons Talking Spirit has started is because we want to share people's experiences. We have people from investigators to spiritual mediums, and like Anne does artwork as well, which is going to share some artwork as well with us this evening. So we want to bring this community together and get everyone's different experiences all together. Susan, good evening, and Jennifer. So Anne, my first question is just to give us a bit of background about yourself and let everyone know a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a great grandma.
Oh, awesome.
I'm 73 years young, and I've been on the journey the most of my life, I think, my spiritual journey, but more so in the later years,
Yeah.
as opposed to when I was younger. I love creating. I'm very creative. I love my artwork. I love my crafting. My house is like an Aladdin's cave, full of crafting. I love being with the grandchildren and the great grandchildren. I've got two lovely sisters and a lovely
Oh,
family
lovely.
who all support me in whatever I do, really. They're very supportive. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. So the first question, obviously, it comes down to: so how did you start with your development? Was it quite young? You started experiencing the spirit world, or was it? I know you mentioned your development started, I guess, a bit later, but did you have any of them early
Yeah,
experiences?
I did. When my mother was alive, she told me about her experiences. So some of it must have come from her, the way I am, because she told me that when she worked in a house, she used to be like a housemaid, and she worked in this house, and she went to clean a room, and when she opened the door, there was an old lady sat there. So she excused herself and came out of the room. And later on, when she mentioned it, you know, there was no old lady.
Wow.
She'd actually seen her with her physical eyes. And she also told me that she knew the exact moment when her mother passed away. She was at work, and she got this overwhelming feeling that her mother had passed away. However, sadly, I wasn't able to do much talking with my mum on spiritual stuff because she passed away when I was 14,
Right.
and my two sisters were 10 and 5-year old, respectively. Um, but what happened 2 years after she passed, of course, my dad, he wouldn't leave us, you see. He
Yeah.
wouldn't leave us. So he was looking after us. And 2 years after she passed, one of his brothers came and dragged him out to the pub and said, "Come on, it's time you left the kids." And by that time I was 16, Mary was 12, and Maggie was 7. So myself and Mary were sat watching the television. Maggie was in bed, and Mary turned round, and as she turned round, I turned round as well, and we were looking at Mother, at our mum,
Wow.
her face, and it was in the doorway. So this is when I was 16, and all it was her face, and her hair. I remember her dark curly hair, her glasses. I remember her glasses, and like all this mist around her. And that's it. There was no body. I couldn't see a
Hmm.
body. It was just her face. And we sort of looked, and then our Mary said, "It's only Mam." So we turned back again to the telly, and then when we turned back, she'd gone.
Wow.
So that was my very first experience of seeing a spirit person.
Yeah.
Which, it was a wow moment. But it sort of got put to one side because life takes over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You grow up, you get married, you have kids, and it sort of all went on a bit of a back burner until I got to my 30s, 40s. And then I started doing other stuff that connects hand in hand with spiritual stuff, like crystals and things like that, So that was my earliest experience.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it
Do you
was. It was.
do you believe that like working with spirit and these experiences we have do can be run in the family? You know, like a genetic kind of thing. Because as I mentioned about my granddad, my mum's quite open to the spirit world, and my great grandma
Yeah,
was.
I do. But I also believe that everyone is born with the ability.
Yeah.
I believe that everyone can do it if they want to and if they are on the right path. Because I don't believe it's a gift. I believe it's an ability.
Yeah.
Because we've got the all the senses, haven't we? We've got the sixth sense and the intuition and the gut reaction and all that. So I believe anyone can work with spirit
Yeah.
if they want to, and they've got the right people to help them blossom. Really,
Yeah.
you know, that's my belief.
No, that definitely makes sense. I think once you, as you mentioned there, like once you get into that comfortable place where you know you're going to help you progress, that's where, like you said, the blossom and the trees growing,
Yeah,
and then you'll skyrocket, I guess.
yeah,
into that.
yeah,
No, that's
absolutely,
no,
absolutely.
that's
There are
really
a
awesome.
couple of people in my family that are aware, and I'm hoping, you know, in a few years' time, maybe there's a certain one that maybe may take the decision to do a bit more about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Fingers
that.
crossed, anyway. Might
Yeah.
not be in my lifetime, but fingers crossed.
Oh, that's lovely. So, one of the other questions: did your father have any experiences? Any experiences, or did he ever say anything about spirit wise?
My dad was a big believer in God and a great believer in prayer. He believed in the power of prayer, so he believed in prayer bringing miracles,
Yeah.
things like that. With regards to spirit, it's funny really because just before he passed, um, we had this conversation. We'd been watching a film. It was a couple of days before he passed. I had him here at my house. We'd been watching a film about Elvis. It wasn't
Oh, really?
Elvis.
Yeah.
It was called Heartbreak Hotel. I don't know if you've heard of it, or
No, I
Heartbreak
don't think so.
Motel. Anyway,
Yeah.
we were watching this, and he turned to me and he said, "Do you think Elvis is still alive then?" Because this is like going back a few years. And I said, "Don't know." I said, "I'll tell you what, when you pop your clogs, you'll have to come back and tell me." So after that, obviously, he passed away. And then I went for a reading at Oldham Spiritualist Church. And I can't remember, I think it was George Sherwin, the gentleman who was doing the reading. And he brought Elvis forward. You know,
Wow.
he didn't know me from Adam. And he brought the fact, he said, "I've got an Elvis song here going round in my head." So I said, "Oh, what is it?" And he said, "Crying in the Chapel." And he'd like was communicating with my dad and brought this Elvis song, "Crying in the Chapel." And the words, "Now I'm happy with the Lord."
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So it was like a message from my dad. But ever since then, oh my word, you want to hear him, my dad. He loves being a communicator from
Really?
spirit. Absolutely. It comes up every time when anybody's doing a reading from it. There he is on front row. He
Oh,
loves communicating. And he wasn't a great believer in it, but he believed in God and heaven and, stuff like that.
yeah.
Not necessarily mediums as such, but he loves to communicate from the other side. Can't shut him up. Like me.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a bit
So,
like me.
so in regards to like your spiritual guides, is your dad one of your main guides who helps you with the communication side then?
Did you say guide?
Yeah, is he like one of your main guides with communication, helping you
Well,
communicate?
I don't really my, count my deceased loved ones as guides as such, because guides are usually a bit higher up in the pecking order. Are you
Right.
with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has appeared three times in a dream when it's not. I call it more a happening than a dream, and there's three times it's happened where one time I actually touched his hand and I could feel the skin. Then
Wow.
another time I touched his face and I could feel the wrinkles and the softness in his face. But the third time, oh my word, he was stood with his back to me, and when he turned round, I looked right into his eyes, and it just blew my mind. And when it happened, it sort of woke me up, So
Yeah.
those, to me, those weren't dreams. Those were what Derek Akora used to say, visitation. Are you
Yeah.
with me? Within a dream state. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loves it, my dad. He loves all this communicating business.
Oh, that's
Whenever
amazing.
he gets the opportunity, that he's there on front row.
Oh wow. I've always said that. We did a podcast on about dreams and seeing loved ones, and you know it's not just a dream because when you wake up, you've got that feeling of like you've just seen him.
Yeah.
Like I used to go see my granddad in his house and sit with him have a brew, and I've had that a
Yes.
few times. That feeling, and I'm like, that is not a dream. That is a
Yeah.
physical
It's sort of
experience.
more than, isn't it? It's more
Yeah,
than a dream. Yeah,
definitely,
definitely.
100%. We've got a
Yeah.
few. Karen Murray says Anne is a super talented lady. So we've got a few comments for you, Anne.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you, Karen.
Susan Jones says hello to Anne. Oh, she's got a picture with Chris Connor there, which is on her profile picture.
Oh, hi, Sue. Sue
Who
is the
else?
president of Saddleworth Spiritualist Church, where I
Oh,
teach.
okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Hello, Sue. Good
yeah.
evening.
And
Hope
she's
you're
a
okay.
very, very good friend and a good supporter of me.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
way, you do the development class at Saddleworth.
Yes, it
Ah,
is.
lovely.
It's Sue that asked me to do it, and I'm so grateful. I've done it there before, but this time it's different. It has a different feel to it somehow.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, absolutely
Oh,
brilliant. And the people in the group are really, really good, and they do everything I ask them to. They give everything a go, and we've had some great results. Yeah,
oh, that's amazing. So, guys,
yeah.
those just joining with us, as I mentioned at the beginning, if you just arrived, if you do have any questions for Anne or anything you'd like to ask her, please do put it in the comments section, and we will ask her, and she can give you some more info because it might be something I forgot to put in. So, one thing I want to talk about is how you work with spirit. Do you hear spirit, see spirit on like clairvoyance, clairaudience? Is it sensing spirit? How does it work for yourself?
It's a little bit of everything. Um, I'm to be honest with you, that's about it. It's a little bit of everything because, but Jared, what's really weird? The more you develop, the longer you work with spirit, the more you have to trust, because it sounds daft this, but you get less visual,
Yeah,
less hearing. It's sort of, you sort of just have to trust more.
yeah,
Um, it's really hard to explain, but sometimes I will see something, and then other times you just know it and you just speak it,
yeah.
and you don't know where it's come from. It's just a knowingness.
Hmm.
Um, do you understand what I
Yeah, I know
mean
what you mean.
there?
Yeah,
It's like clairsentience, that, isn't it,
yeah,
rather than clairvoyance and clairaudience.
yeah,
Don't get me wrong, I have seen spirit, I have heard spirit, but I think these days it's more like just that knowing,
yeah,
and as you know, then it either turns into a picture or or something that you know, a word that comes into your mind. It's hard to explain, really. But the longer you go on doing it, it's not as it's easy when you're a beginner. It's really, really easy when you're a beginner, because they show you loads of pictures and they make you put these feelings on you and everything. And the more you do it, I think it's more down to trust than anything.
Yeah.
Because when you do platform as a medium, you have to stand up and you have absolutely nothing in your head.
Yeah.
Now imagine as a singer yourself standing up with nothing in your head.
Oh, that's happened a few times.
I tell you
Forgot
what, it's
words
hard
and things.
work. It's
Yeah.
hard work. But you just have to trust that spirit will be there. And they will, and they'll be there, and they start impressing upon you images and thoughts and feelings and pictures. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just open your mouth and hope that the right words come out.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times. When I used to go to Blackpool Church.
It's a great trust between yourself and the spirit world.
Yeah.
You have to develop a trust.
Yeah, I've heard a few people mention that where they're ready to go on rostrum and thinking, I'm not switched on, there's no one there, like what's going to happen? Yeah, and then you're going to pack. But I guess this is where you become, like when you're used to it, you know what to expect. But I guess if someone like myself, when I eventually hopefully get to do the rostrum and that happens, I'll probably go into panic mode and go, uh-oh. But I guess it just fires, I guess, then.
Yeah, you just have to do lots and lots of practice in your groups, lots of practice, and just get the confidence to know that when you do stand up and open your mouth, that spirit are going to be there, and they're not going to desert you and leave you standing. That's the thing.
What are the things I wanted to ask you as well? So when you're doing rostrum yourself or doing your teaching, do you? So when spirit comes forward to you, you know, and obviously gives you a message, and like you say about that trusting, do you work? Because some people work with like the left hand side maybe being the male or the right hand side being the, you know, like that. I can't remember which side's which.
No. You can, when you're a beginner, you tend to start off like that. I can remember being a beginner at Oldham Spiritualist Church and standing up in the circle that we used to have upstairs, and I would stand up and I would wait until spirit pushed me in the back and made me sort of step forward, and then I'd go, oh, I've got a man here, or oh, I've got a woman here. That doesn't happen now. It's much more subtle than that, really, really subtle. The longer you do it, the more subtle it gets. That's what's happened to me. I can't talk for other mediums, but that's what's happened to me. It's got so subtle that you think, flipping it, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
But there is. It's just you think, I've got nothing, you know. But then all of a sudden something happens, and you either see a vision or a word will come into your mind, you know, or you might feel a condition on you, you know, and then you just start to talk about what you're experiencing. That's basically it, really. But it's much easier. I promise you, it's much easier as a beginner. I really promise you that it is.
Yeah, I think, like you say, for me, it's just more of like a confidence thing, and I guess, like you say, the more you do, the more confident you get. But it's just
it is.
giving yourself that push, you know.
Yeah.
One of the other questions I want to ask you, was there any with you developing and things like that, or even in the earlier days, was there any mediums that stood out to you who you sort of looked up to, who give you that bit of a help as well?
Well, I've been going to the Arthur Findley College since 2005 or 2006.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of mediums there, and they've all been part of my journey. And to be honest, Jared, I love that place.
Yeah.
I'm booked in.
Yeah.
I'm booked in on the 4th of June, yes.
Oh, that's
I just
awesome.
need to make sure I've got the transport to get me there. Oh, I love that place.
Yeah,
I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, what was it?
The tutors, the tutors that I've worked with there, I've learned something from every single one of them. Absolutely every single one of them. But I tend to usually go on Tony Stockwell's course.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people I've met over the years, a lot of my friends go on that course as well. So it's great. We don't see each other for 12 months. And then all of a sudden we turn up at the college and it's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Knew you'd be here. And
Yeah.
with everybody,
Oh, lovely.
And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I love it. Absolutely love it. And like I say, I'm booked. So I just have to confirm with someone about a lift getting there this year. So, and I'll be there in the thick of it, hopefully.
Oh, that's amazing.
Enjoying every minute of it.
One of my friends, Denise, as I mentioned to you, is a medium herself who does some of the paranormal living with us. She went down to Arthur Findley College and said, as soon as you walk in, the energy in the place is just unreal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
as you get to the front door, you just feel like you've come home somehow.
Oh, wow.
It's that sort of feeling,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, where the lilac is, that's the little, if you walk along there, you get to the sanctuary, the church, the chapel, whatever you want to call it. It's called the sanctuary, but it's like a chapel or a church there. And it's amazing. And everybody congregates around all these benches at break times and has a little chat, It's a wonderful place. And in front of all these trees, there's a great big lawn, a massive big lawn. And then there's a big tree in the middle, the tulip tree.
I've heard about this.
Denise mentioned it look like tulips when they're open. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's fantastic. It's a brilliant. I recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, I'm hoping to
anyone. It doesn't matter what level you're at, because when you go to the college, you write down. You are asked what level you think you are at when in the first meeting, when everybody gets together on the first day. You were asked what level you think you are at, and then you are placed in a group according to your level. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're allocated a tutor. Each level has a tutor, and that tutor remains your tutor for the week. But during the week, you will get tutors that swap. One day you'll go to a session and you'll go, oh, and you've got a different tutor.
Yeah.
So, but they'll do something different with you, and it's good fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I've watched a few things about the Arthur Findley College, and one of the things they were showing is the spirit hands from the hand. Well, they've been casted or something, and there's no explanation how to. And they've been trying to recreate this with spirit, and they've never had luck, apparently, from what I believe.
Right. The museum has got lots of good stuff in. It's at the top of the stairs, the museum.
Yeah.
And it's open twice a week, usually at lunch times. It's open twice a week, and you can go and have a look at everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the spirit art in there and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that does bring us on to the next thing, which is about your artwork. So I have a few pieces here, which I've been on your Facebook and had a look. Which one? The angel and the peacock stood out to me. I absolutely love them, and absolutely fantastic drawings by yourself as well. Do you want to give us a bit of a look into your artwork?
Yeah, the angel was just off the top of my head, really. I think I did 3, and I was just experimenting with some new paints that I'd bought, and they really they've got like a sheen to them, the paints, and I just felt like, oh, what shall I paint with these? So that's why I ended up painting the angels. Like I said, there's 3. But they're individuals. They're not like in a set or anything. The peacock, that's the one I did last week, I think. Yeah, I did that last week. And that was just off a picture that I saw on the internet. I just thought, oh, that looks nice. So I did that. And then the one top right, where the people are in the little gazebo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different I was using a different technique there, and I'm not quite sure whether it works or not. but at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know. Some people like it, some people not. But looking at it from here now, it looks as if there's an angel in the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, the purple
If
or the
you look
pink.
at
Yeah.
the pinky purpley bit, it looks like an angel with wings, and that wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be
All right.
trees. That so. Things appear in my paintings, Jared, you know.
Yeah.
Things appear all the time in my paintings that I haven't put there. Faces appear all the time that I haven't put there, which is fantastic. And this one at the bottom, believe it or not, this one where the water's going down, I was trying to do something else with it, and it wasn't working. So I ended up doing that with it, with the water and everything and the waterfall. And I wasn't quite happy with it.
Yeah.
But I put it on, I always put everything on my Facebook, whether I'm happy with the painting or not. But quite a few people said it was nice. So, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, but I love painting. I absolutely love it. And I didn't start painting till I was in my 60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I saw Lawrence outside the local market hall with his paintings. And I got talking to his wife, and then he came along, and I said, "Oh, I won't be able to do this." She said, "Why?" I said, "Well, it's oils, and they smell. I can't cope with the smell." She went, "These are water-based. There's no smell." And I went, "Oh, sign me up quick." And that was it, you know. So once I knew there was no odor with them, I was like, "Yeah, this is just what I need." So I've been doing it since then.
Oh, wow.
Since I was in my 60s, yeah. So quite a while.
Yeah. So
My first paintings, when you look at them, you can tell that this sort of I'm new, but then the paintings that I do now are a bit more, you know, advanced sort of thing. I should think so after 12, 13 years, you know.
Honestly, they're absolutely beautiful. Every time I'm on Facebook and I see your
Thank
paintings
you.
bob up. So, is it just a passion, like you say, that just happened, or is it a spiritual thing for you as well? I know you said things do tend to appear, but does something just
Well, I do,
trigger?
yeah. As a kid, I loved drawing. I always drew as a kid. And I drew Handicap and Hagar the Horrible out of the, you know, the cartoon strips out of the newspapers. I
Yeah.
used to draw those as a child. And then when I went to high school, it didn't work for me. Art didn't work. It just didn't. And then I was lucky when I found Lawrence, you know, displaying his paintings, and spoke to him and said, you know, "Oh my word, if there's no smell, I'm coming to your classes." And that was it, away, you know. But I do spirit portraits as well.
Yes, I've seen these on Fit
Um,
and they're awesome.
yeah, yeah. I've got a few here.
Oh,
If
that's
you want me to,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, show you. Let's see. This young man. Um, this young man, the only information I got about him was that he was called John. I knew he was a schoolboy because he made me draw a cap on him, and I don't normally put hats on my people.
All right. Okay.
And he told me his name was John, and that's the only information I had about him. And this was a place, a public house. I forgot its name now. Anyway, it was over in Ashton somewhere. And when I held the picture up, the people that were in the pub, they said, I think it was called the Centurion, the pub, and they said, "That's John Kilbride."
All right.
So I was shocked. I said, "Do you mean John Kilbride, you know, of the Moors?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Why would I draw him? Is there somebody here in the audience, you know, that belongs to him?" And they said, "No, he used to live behind this pub." So I was gobsmacked. So I went on the internet and found his picture. And I don't know if you can see very well with that, with the lighting.
Oh, there you
But
go.
you
That's
can
better.
see that's better.
Because of the cheekbones as well, you can see
The
like
cheekbones, the
prominent cheekbones.
chin, the eyes. Sorry, I'm going out of the
No, it's
picture.
all right. Don't worry. It's all right. Wow,
But
that's
that was
mad.
a shock. So bless him, I've still got him here. So he lives with me. He lives with me, this little boy.
Yeah. Oh.
He stays with me. But I couldn't believe that because, the likeness, it was amazing. And I learned how to do spirit art. My first session with spirit art was with a local medium called Pauline Montgomery.
All right.
Bless
Okay.
her. And she's from Oldham, and she's very, very good with just a piece of charcoal.
All right.
That's all that Pauline uses. And then I went to the Arthur Findley College and learned how to use colour as well as the charcoal pencils.
Yeah.
But this is a funny one. This is
Oh, sugar. Sorry.
I'm not sure if you can see that one.
You see it a tiny bit.
That young lady, when I drew her at Shaw Church, she's not dead, this lady.
Right.
But I drew her. Now work that one out.
Yeah.
Work that one out. So it's obvious that someone in spirit must be thinking about the young lady. And if you look at the portrait at the top, see if I can get it. There's a light at the top of the picture where I dropped the chalk on the paper,
yeah.
and I brushed it off, and it made like a light above a head on this one. It's weird because it's back to front on the screen. And you can see the light above a head on the other picture. Can you see it?
Yeah.
How weird is that? Don't ask me how it happens. I haven't a clue.
That's awesome.
And this was done from a sealed envelope. This one.
Oh, wow.
I was given a sealed envelope with a name in, and I drew that lady. And this was in a private circle that I used to go to with Joanne Taylor.
Right.
And it was Joanne that gave me the envelope with the name in. And when she looked at the picture, she said, "Yes, that's Auntie Pat." And she went upstairs and got this picture. Obviously, the picture here is of Auntie Pat many years younger. And this one I did at the Arthur Findley College. And this lady, the photograph of the lady is Muriel Tennant. And apparently Muriel Tennant used to be a tutor at the college. I didn't know Muriel Tennant from Adam.
Yeah.
But yet I drew her portrait. I have no idea how it works, Jared. I really don't. It just does. These things just work.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I'll just show you these.
That's fine.
As well. This is Arthur Findley that I drew at the college.
All right. Wow.
And I put the photographs there, to prove that it's him. But the same week, I also drew Gordon Higginson and Harry Edwards, and I didn't know who they were.
That is awesome. I'm a big fan
I
of
was
Gordon
pretty
Higginson.
new to the college at the time. It's amazing. Spirit art is really amazing.
Yeah. I was just mentioning
how it works.
Gordon Higginson.
Because when you're doing it, you don't feel any different either. When you're drawing, it's not like somebody's got hold of my hand and doing it a certain way. I'm just me.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how it works. It just does.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Spooky.
It's amazing. Honestly, I've always been fascinated with spirit art. I've seen it once before, and it was when I was a lot younger, and it's what, so 10, might be like 12 years ago. I went to the spiritual church with my mum, and the guy it was this massive portrait of this little boy, And the song on it was The Wonder of You. So automatically, Mum was like, it must be connected to us because it was an Elvis song. But we couldn't
Yeah,
place the little boy. But we knew my granddad's brother had passed away, like, I think he was about 5 year old back in the
yeah,
30s. So, but obviously, my granddad was only about 2 year old, maybe, if that, when his brother, so he
yeah.
never really knew what he looked like, and there was no pictures. So we couldn't place him, unfortunately. But it must have obviously been my granddad's little brother.
It's amazing, spirit art. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, I drew somebody at a venue once. I used to go to with my friend Debbie. She used to do the mediumship, and I used to sit doing the drawing. And I drew this gentleman, and I got the word knights with him. I got the name Phil, and I got the word knights. And the person who it was for could take the drawing. She knew exactly who it was. She said, "I don't understand the word knights." She said, "Because he didn't work." And I said, "All right." She said, "He was disabled." I said, "All right. Well, I don't know. That's what I got."
Yeah.
Anyway, we went outside at the break time, and we were stood, and the light outside kept going on and off and on and off. It was really weird.
Wow.
And all of a sudden she went, "What's up with me?" She said, "That was his surname, Knights."
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always click straight away with people. It's like when you're giving a message. Sometimes when you're giving a message from platform, people can only take some of it. And it's not till they get home later and they have a think about it and they go, "Oh, of course, I know what she meant now."
Yeah.
Obviously, it's too late for the medium,
Yeah.
but it's proof that the medium actually did know what they were talking about, you know.
Yeah.
It's one of them things, isn't it? You just have
Yeah.
to roll with it.
Yeah. So brings me on to my next question for you, which is about, you've started your own development class and you do your own development class. What was it that
Yes.
prompted you to start your own development class and work with people?
I've always been a natural teacher. It's just something in me. And when I was a kid, I used to have all the other kids sat down and be, you know, doing shows and that, but I was always the one in charge.
Yeah.
It's sort of come from that, I think. But no, I like to share my knowledge. And the thing is, good teacher, it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but good teachers had to come by. And if you've got something to share that's of benefit to others, I think you should,
Yeah.
you know. And I've done development classes, I've done private ones, I've done them for Saddleworth Church before, and it was Sue Jones, the president, that gave me the opportunity again to do the development group this time. And thankfully, they're loving it, they're enjoying it. And I try to think up things that they're not expecting me to
Yeah.
give them to do, you know. I try to think up little things that'll throw them a bit off balance,
Yeah.
but make them work and enjoy it, you know. But yeah, I think they're enjoying it. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it,
No, that's
and they
amazing.
keep coming back for more. So it must be okay.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you cover in your development class?
Oh, all sorts. We go through all the clairs.
Yeah.
You know, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairalience, clairgustance, claircognizance. And I also include Claire Luna. I say that's when
Oh.
the lunatics are out, you know. It's a joke. It's a joke. I always have to throw a joke in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do all sorts. I do things like the family tree. This is a good one because a lot of people, when they are getting a message from spirit, the only people they're expecting to hear from is their immediate
Yeah.
family. Mum, dad, brother, sister, you know, grandma, granddad.
Yeah.
They forget about the next door neighbours. They forget about the shopkeeper. They used to go to the shop every week with the oddie money, you know, and they forget about people they went to school with. So I do an exercise with the family tree, and we explore who's on what level. So on my level would be my siblings and all my friends of a similar age. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the level above me would be my parents and all my aunties and uncles and people that are that bit older than me.
Yeah.
And the row above them would be my grandparents, great aunts, great uncles, and older people than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And below me is my children and their friends.
Mm-hmm.
And on the same line as me, also, I forgot my cousins. You know, you include your cousins. So I do like a family tree. And when you count it up, you are surprised at how many people you have got in spirit. When you think you've only got your grandmas and your granddads and perhaps your mum and dad, you forget about all these other people, you see. And any one of those other people can step forward to communicate with you. Well, to communicate with the medium for you.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that I like doing. You know, it
Yeah, I
gets
like that.
the students thinking.
Yeah.
You know, I think outside the box, because it's not always going to be. You get fed up of grandmas. I know it sounds daft, but you do. It's like Mr. Stockwell, Tony Stockwell says, you know, the granny with the rolling pin. All the mediums at the Arthur Findley College say, don't bring me a granny with a rolling pin. Because all grannies had rolling pins, didn't they?
Yeah.
There's nothing special about that. Bring me a granny. One of the tutors at the college, Simone, her grandma used to like going to casinos.
Yeah.
Not a rolling pin in sight. He tells us that. So you've got to think outside the box, you see, as well when you're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't go for the norm.
Yeah.
Try and get your students working. That's the thing.
Yeah. I have a question here from Shirley Mullen for you. So I said, can I ask, if you're on platform and you get many spirits trying to get a message through the same time, how do you manage them? Is it like, okay, form an orderly queue, or is it just the ones who are desperate to speak to you that go first? Or that get through first, sorry.
Okay, well, I haven't done the platform for a bit, but what you would do there is you would feel your way with the strongest information. So you would start talking about the strongest information that you had, and see if you can get that placed. Really, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once you've got that person placed, then it would be on to the next. You know, do your bit of evidence and get the message across to your recipient,
Yeah.
and then it would be right next. You know, and it's the one you feel the strongest with, I would say, Shirley, and the strongest evidence go with that. It is difficult though, because you can have, say you've got two people who are very similar. We had it on Tuesday evening, actually, when we did the class. One of the students, Sharon, there were two Marys. She had Mary, but they were very similar. And then all of a sudden, there were no's from that person and no's from that person. So I said, right, you've probably got two Marys. So work with that Mary first with that recipient. And she did. And she got a little bit more information and got that place. And then I said, right, now work with that Mary with that recipient. And she got different information. Do you see what I mean? Because Mary is, that's my mother's name, but it is, and my sister's name, but it is quite a common name from the spirit world. It's like John. John's a common name, isn't it, from spirit? So you just have to work with what you've got and feel your way into it. And you will soon know if you're right or wrong, because you'll get no's. If you're wrong, you'll get no's. So it doesn't belong there. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to rethink it. If you can't place it, it doesn't belong there. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So for yourself, I know you said obviously you've not done platform for a while, but you know, when you were going to someone, do you feel that pull yourself, or is it just like boom? The spirit stood there, and I know I'm with you. How does it work for you when you was coming to someone in there?
I just get things popping into my head, Jared. I don't feel a pull to anyone. I just get things popping. When I was on platform, I just would get things popping into my head. And what was really absolutely wonderful, I couldn't believe it, the very first service I did was at Saddleworth Spiritualist Church,
Okay.
and, where I teach now. And what happened, how cool was this? As the spirits stepped forward, they only announced themselves by name to me.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. It's never happened since.
Yeah.
But that particularly, I think they must have known how scared I was. And they just sort of announced themselves by name. And that was like really a one-off, definitely a one-off. But what I do, I just, I don't always feel whether it's a man or a woman to begin with. It might be just, they might just put something into my mind, like an object or a feeling, you know, and then you start to build up the spirit person who, so you, when you sort of get something put into your mind, then you have to ask yourself, who's giving me this information? And then that builds up the picture of the spirit person, you know, or the feeling of the spirit person. Depends how each medium works, because some are clairaudient, some are clairvoyant, some are just clairsentient. I've got a bit of a jumble, I think, of everything.
Yeah.
However, they feel like they can get the message across.
I've heard a few people mention that as well, where they might work one way for a amount of time, and then all of a sudden they'll get up and do a service, and it's completely changed.
Changes. It changes. And believe it, like I said before, the more you do it, the more subtle it gets.
Yeah.
And you just have to stand up and open your mouth and trust that what comes out your mouth makes some sense to somebody.
Yeah.
Because you can't always see or hear or feel. It's just sort of a knowing.
Yeah.
And you just say it. And then hopefully somebody goes, oh, God, yeah, I know what she's talking about.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. Shirley's put, thank you for answering her question, sorry. And she's also said, by the way,
Shirley.
Her granny was called Mary as well.
Ah, well, there you go. She's obviously listening.
There we go.
She wants to have her two penneth.
So one of my next questions for you was, what is your standout moment since you started your journey and your development? What's been that one moment where you've gone, yeah, wow?
Oh, I wish you'd have asked me. I wish you'd have told me to prepare for this. Standout moment.
If you have a few, that's fine.
It's when you stand up and you've got absolutely nothing in your head, and you stand on that platform and you hit everything spot on. And it's happened quite a few times when, you know, things have gone and I've said things and then somebody said no, and and then this is at the college. I was giving this information and somebody said no, and I gave this. It was a name, I think, or a place. It was a name of a place or a person. I think it was the name of a place, if I remember rightly. And this person had said no, they didn't understand it. So I was like really deflated, because when people say no, believe it or not, when you're a medium, your energy drops, you know. It actually drops. Right. So you've got to fight to keep your energy up, to keep the connection going. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I said a bit more and they understood that. And then I sat down. And then when I sat down, she said, oh, yeah, I do know it. And it's those sort of moments that you're like, yes, I knew I was right. You know, but when it's happening and you're up there on the platform and they're not taking the information. But then, like, a lot of people will come up to the medium after the service and say, you know, when you said that about my grandma keeping chickens, well, I remember now, she did do. Too late. The medium's energy went flat when you didn't understand it, you know. So it is difficult. It is difficult. It's hard to juggle it.
That actually, I do have
Try
a
and keep your energy up.
I do have a question for you. It's a bit on the similar lines about the queuing system, but I've always wondered this. That for example, when you go into the spiritualist church or you're going for a private reading, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
how does spirit actually know? Like, okay, they're going for this reading. Do they just go right? Let's get on this bus and let's go to where we're going out? Like, it's always confused me. I guess it's a bit of a brain
Because
fart.
there's a collective consciousness, isn't there? Or everyone in spirit is part of the collective consciousness.
Right.
Your people in spirit know exactly what you're doing at this moment in time.
Yeah.
They're all around you. They're all listening in. All my lot are listening in. They're all around me.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Anything that's ever, you can't kill energy. You just can't kill it. It can't, it's got a life of its own energy.
Yeah.
You can't kill it. And that's how come we're able to communicate with the energy of people that have gone by. Because even though their bodies don't exist, their energy still does.
Yeah.
If you understand my meaning. And that's how it works, you see. You tune into that energy, that essence of the person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's
Good.
I think I've always said that there's so many things like you don't understand, and I always like until you get there, you probably all go, "Oh, that makes sense now."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because I remember once I had this dream, and I was going through a stage of doubting a lot, and I'm like, even though I didn't, as you do, you go through that thing like, what happens if that's really it? Once you pass on, that's literally it. Thankfully, I've been all right. I've been all right for a while now, but I don't know. I think I was just struggling with things, and it was so hard work. And then I had this dream, and it was all this like green field and all these trees, and it was something I'd never seen before. And literally, what I got was, this is an essence of heaven. That's exactly what they said to me in this little sort of video. It was like looking through a little window or like a portal in a ship. And I woke up, and then after that, I was like, wow. And I just felt completely different. And I'm like, it's crazy.
That was probably to reassure you and reaffirm your faith, in there being an afterlife.
Yeah.
Whatever the afterlife is, I don't know. I've not been there yet. I'll come back and let you know.
Yeah.
So watch out for me. Watch out for me coming and giving you little signs after I pop my clogs.
No, it's such an amazing. It's such an amazing.
It's fascinating. Working with spirit is fascinating. And once you start, you just can't stop. It's very Moorish. I think a lot of it is because I'm very nosy. I think you've got to be nosy to work with spirit, because it's like, well, what's that all about? Show me this. What's that? Tell me this. Tell me that. And I'm curious. I'm always learning. Always learning. I love to learn about spirit, which is why I always go to the college. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And it gives you the opportunity to work for 6 full days a week.
Wow.
With like-minded people.
Yeah.
What's not to like about that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
With the best tutors in the land.
Yeah.
In this country and from abroad, because we've had tutors from abroad as well to work with.
Yeah. No, I like to hopefully. I do hope to get there eventually at some point, just to experience it. And
put it on your list. Get it on your list. Yeah.
I'm sure I can find some time somewhere. So one of my final question for you. So, Anne, obviously, thank you very much for taking time out on this Friday evening to being part of this, and thank you to everyone coming on. Although we have another comment from Shirley before I ask this last question. It must feel amazing when you give a message to a family member who has lost a loved one, and it gives them great comfort.
It absolutely does, Shirley. It absolutely does. And on a couple of occasions, on 3 occasions that I can remember, I remember 2 vividly. there was another occasion. I have actually, this is me personally, I don't know how many other mediums it's happened to, but I have been able to allow, with the help of spirit, the person I'm giving the information to actually stand behind me and feel the energy of their spirit loved one.
Oh, wow.
Because when I feel spirit, I tend to feel it behind me. So what I've done on 3 separate occasions in the past, two occasions, I'll tell you the other one in a minute. 2 occasions where the spirit loved one, I've actually felt behind me. So I've said to the person I'm giving the message to, one was the cleaner at work, so it was impromptu. It wasn't like a reading or anything, it was like impromptu. I said, he stood behind me, get behind me and put your arms, and she could feel the energy of the spirit person. And it was, and the other one was the hairdresser. That was a hairdressing appointment, just me and her in the salon. And her fiance came through, got loads of evidence for her. And I knew he was behind me. And I said to her, get behind me and feel his energy. And she could. And then the last one was a young lady who sadly lost twin babies. And I was doing a reading in her mum's home for her. And I was using the tarot cards, and I picked up this tarot card, and there was like 2 sunshines on it. And I could feel, as I held it, I could feel them pulsing, doing that. So I gave her the card to hold to her heart, and she could feel these 2 sunshines pulsing. Wow. And that was like the energy of the twin babies, or it felt like it was.
Yeah.
So those are like tangible things, not just a reading. It's like a reading plus something else going on. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And those are like tangible things that don't happen very often, things like that. But when they do, it's absolutely fantastic because it's perfect proof.
Yeah.
For the person who's lost their loved one,
Yeah. Oh, lovely. It's just, that's the thing, isn't it? It's just, like you said, so a lot of people just need that extra bit of that bit of comfort, and this is what we'll give you, and it's just,
that's what it's all about. It's all about proof that life goes on, that you can't kill us for the life of you, for the death of us. You can't kill us. We are an energy, and you can't kill energy. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful when we can get the communication from our loved ones in spirit.
Yeah. Oh, and that's amazing. I've absolutely loved it. It's nice because, like you said, we only ever really spoke through Elvis, and it's after a show, maybe a bit on Facebook. But it's nice to actually have this conversation and get to know you a bit better. And your energy is lovely.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I got a really good vibe, honestly. Just talking to you about this, it's honestly, I feel like love. I want to give you a big hug. That's how I feel.
It as well, because like I say, I know you in a different guise, don't I?
Yeah, me walking out as Elvis.
When you sing the song, Just Call My Name, you sing that song, Just Call My Name, and Elvis! And you always laugh when I do that. But yeah, it's nice to talk about things that we love and we care about, and share with other people the things that we love.
Yeah, and this is a reason I wanted to start this podcast, interviewing different people, just because it's nice to get everyone's experiences and obviously what they've gone through, and how everything's, even though you might have had a different experience, they're all very similar at the same time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
This is my final question for you, and I remembered I didn't show this picture, and I you shared it on Facebook, weren't it? Was it about a week ago? And I messaged you and I said, "I absolutely love this." So do you want to just tell us a bit about this, so we can for the sort of little end? Oh, there we go. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was taken at the Arthur Findley College quite a few years ago. I think it was 2012. Hold on a minute. Yeah, 2012. So it's quite a while ago now. And it was taken by one of the tutors, Sue Wood, who has this great setup with the camera. And I'm just trying to think now. All the little lights that are on it. You see all the little lights, like
Yeah.
little stars. I believe that's spirit energy. Well, this is all my aura, and it's sort of what's going on in my aura. So the yellow, I've got it here. Let me, because I wrote it down so I won't forget. The yellow is intelligence and sharing of knowledge, and a natural teacher. That's what that means. How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Because I am a teacher anyway. I'm a qualified teacher.
Yeah.
Regardless of the spirit, I teach holistic stuff as well. So and all the little sparks are all the spirit lights of all the people gathering close, to communicate. But yeah, Sue Wood did this with a special camera. But the blue's my colour.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's like I have to be with the blues and the turquoises. That's my colour.
Yeah.
The yellow is for intellect as well. On there, and I think there's a little bit of pink at the bottom where the yellow is. There's a little bit of pink coming in, and that's like the warmth coming in. But yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's called Kirlian photography. Kirlian. I think that's what it's called. That they use a special camera for this to capture the aura. But a lot of people can see aura with their eyes, Now, I've only seen it on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can see all this going on with their physical eyes.
Wow.
So they don't need to have a camera for that. But it just shows you like the presence of spirit, doesn't it? All
Absolutely.
those little tiny little white lights. That's spirit gathering close.
It's amazing.
And obviously the aura, you've got several layers. And when we work with spirit, we work on the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Those are the first 4 layers.
Yeah.
And those are the layers that we work with spirit. So it's and of course as they draw close and we expand our aura, that's how we can feel them within our aura. We can feel it's like when you're next to a person on the bus, and you just feel a bit uncomfortable. It's because they've got their aura like all stretched out and yours is going like this. So it's like that when you work with spirit. You need to expand your aura.
Yeah.
To work with the aura of the spirit person, and you can sense everything within your aura. Yeah, it's very, very, very good. Very good.
It's like say as soon as you shared it, I was like, that is awesome. That's one of the coolest things I've seen.
I love it. Yeah. It's a long time since like 2012. Since I had that done. I remember going to a mind body spirit thing once, and this guy was doing auragraphs, camera, photos, and he said, "Put your hand on that metal bar and think of your favourite colour." Oh, well, that was it. No, tell me your favourite colour. So of course I said purple, and guess what? When my picture came out, it was full of purple.
Oh wow!
What a load of rubbish that was. He was a con man, wasn't he? He was like, But this is a proper thing because this was done at the Arthur Findley College by Sue Wood, who is one of the tutors there. I've done a course with Stella Upton and Sue Wood and Matthew. I did one of the art courses with them. Yeah. So the other art tutor is Alan Stuttle. I've done a few art courses with him, doing the spirit art, the drawings. So yeah, I love all my tutors at the college. They're all brilliant.
Yeah.
The one whose course I always go on is Tony Stockwell. And some of our group are going to see Tony at the theatre, the Royal Court Theatre at Peacock.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's the 5th of May we're going.
Okay.
So
I'll have to have a look.
Yeah.
I did see you post something on Facebook actually before I went live because I texted my mum with the screenshot saying that he's on.
Yeah. So some of the group are going, so I'll be able to introduce them to Tony.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because when
What's
I
it?
go to the college, I always go on Tony's courses now,
Yeah.
because we have so much fun, as well
Mm.
as working with spirit. We have so much fun. It's brilliant.
Yeah. What's he like, Tony? Because I've seen some stuff on
Oh, he's
obviously all the
great.
line and stuff, and his evidence is absolutely impeccable.
Yeah, he's great. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
And he can laugh at himself as well, but
Mm.
he'll also tell us when he tells us when he's got things wrong.
Yeah.
So as a student, it's nice to know
Mm.
that, the teachers know when things aren't right as well.
Yeah.
So he's very sharing. He
That's good.
shares his experiences with us. Yeah, and he's good fun, Tony.
Yeah.
He's real good fun. And of course, when you're on his week, even though we're working, everybody's got a smile on their face.
Mm.
You just can't help it, because he's fun to be with, and the people he chooses to be his tutors on that week, they sort of all gel together, and we're like one big happy family, because
Yeah.
on a normal week at the college, there's at least 100 students.
Oh wow.
So there's usually about 5 or 6 groups. So you each go into a group of a different ability, a different level.
Yeah.
But they always tell you, put yourself a level above the one you think you are,
All right. Okay.
so that you sort of pushing yourself a
Yeah.
little bit. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Don't
good.
settle for what you normally do.
Yeah.
The whole idea to go there is to learn, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course.
So
Yeah.
you set yourself just the level above,
Oh, that's good.
so that you can, you've got something to attain to, haven't you, to
Yeah.
achieve. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I love it, the college. Can't wait. I can't wait for. And when I go, if everything turns out okay, and I've got my lift, it'll be my mum's birthday the day I go. So isn't that fab?
That's absolutely lovely. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. So that'll be good.
Oh, bless you. Well, Anne, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on and taking your time out to talk to everyone, and obviously everyone who's joined us as well on Facebook, and all your comments and stuff. I really, really do appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your story and your experiences with us as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
No,
You're
thank you, Anne.
welcome.
So,
And
guys,
I'll see you. When are you at the Playhouse?
is it?
Is it November?
Was it 12th of November? I
December?
think November. I asked for a
Okay.
Christmas date, but I couldn't get one. They fully.
Oh no.
I know. So I know it's good. So when I messaged him at Christmas after ours, to get another date, he messaged me in January and then it was just they fully booked near enough for the year, so he could only just pencil me in. I'm like,
Wow.
oh. So I don't. They obviously got quite
Out
a
of
bit going
order,
on.
that, isn't it? We'll have to have a word. We'll have to have a word.
But I love playing there in the band. It's always obviously being a full house as well.
Yeah,
It's always
it's a
good.
nice little theatre, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
It's like you've got a good contact with the audience,
Yeah,
because it's a
definitely.
small theatre,
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been lovely, Jared. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. So, guys, thank you very much. We will be back on Tuesday with spiritual medium Stephen Hemingway from Fleetwood. He will be our
Oh,
next guest.
lovely.
Yeah, I've never met him before. I've heard a lot about him and I've seen him in a few churches, but I've never
Oh,
got to speak
I
to him.
must tune in. I'll have
Yeah.
to watch it afterwards though, because it's the development class on
Oh, of
Tuesday.
course, yeah. And I need to try and come to one of your classes as well. I'm going to have to sort that
Oh,
out.
that'd be
Definitely.
great.
I'd love to
Yeah,
join
that'd
you.
be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
look. Thank you so much again, Anne. And thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. All the very best. Love and light. And see you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Anne. Oh, bear with. Sorry. It normally still comes straight. I'll stop in a second.